Hey guys, welcome back. I don't know if you can hear me. So, just to reiterate, the point of this channel is to make sure that I teach you guys how to be your most authentic selves, at least as close to 100% of the time as possible. The lesson that I want to teach today, and I wouldn't even call it necessarily a lesson. It's about spirituality, and this is something that I haven't touched on yet in any of my videos. And what I'm not talking about is necessarily religion. What I'm not talking about is necessarily something completely ethereal. So, things that are completely made up in your mind, or maybe something religious that you do believe in. Okay? So it can be religion, it can be purely spiritual, it could be meditation, but there's something going on. And I haven't realized this until I've gotten older. And keep in mind, I'm trying to be as unbiased as possible while I talk about this topic. So I'm not going to share my thoughts and what I believe. Okay? I'm going to leave that out of this video. And I'm doing that specifically for one reason. It's because I really want you guys to soak this in. And I really want you to look at this from your perspective, not from mine. Okay? So I'm doing this a little bit differently. But what I mean by this is, you go to work, you do things during the day, most of your day is going to be logical. You're going to be doing logical things, you're going to be either dealing with numbers, you're dealing with other people, and if you get paid to do certain things during the day like normal people, most of us are not millionaires, I'm certainly not, okay? You do logical things during the day. You either sell things and you convince people why to buy things, okay? So everything has to do with numbers. Sure, there's some emotions involved, but majority of your day is going to be logical, okay? At least for most career paths, most people. The problem is, and I would consider myself to be a very logical person, at least in terms of how I think about things, how I connect the dots, point A, point B, point C. Here's the issue, is when you go home at night, when you're alone, when you finally have some space, you have a little bit of free time to yourself and you're sitting in your own thoughts, you're not thinking about numbers. Maybe you are if you're an engineer and you love that stuff, but most of us are not doing that, okay? We're sitting in our own thoughts. If we're really truly being authentic with ourselves, we're sitting in our own thoughts. As soon as we're alone, and we have to decide what we're going to think about before we fall asleep. Maybe for some of us, including myself, it keeps us up for hours, okay? There's some nights where I do sit in my own thoughts. But the biggest issue is when you're sitting alone and the world is crumbling around you, the real world. And that could be your finances. That could be your relationship. That could be your friendships, okay? When these things are crumbling around you, it's great to look for a logical solution to that problem, but sometimes that's not the end-all be-all. Sometimes we need something spiritual in our lives. Once again, doesn't have to be religion. Could be meditation, whatever you want to call it. But if you don't have that remaining 10%, which is that spiritual thing, which is that religious thing, could be either or, right? They don't have to be one and the same. Then there's going to feel like there's a gap in your authentic self. And even in the past, when I've considered myself to be 100% logical and really try to completely remove myself from other people's emotions, it never ended well. It just didn't. I used to be like that, guys. I used to keep a lot of my thoughts, a lot of my emotions to myself and tell people that they were stupid for having emotions, okay? Not a good way to go. Don't do that. You need to be open, and you don't have to tell other people about this, by the way. You can completely 100% keep this to yourself. In fact, if people ask you, this is the one and only time. Maybe I change my mind later. We'll see. But the one time where I think it's okay If you don't feel comfortable telling other people what you think internally in terms of spirituality and religion, you don't have to. This is your own thing, okay? This is your own thought process. This is your own internal monologue and how you speak to yourself when you're alone. What do you have to believe in when you're all alone? We just circled around. When your world is crumbling around you, you need something. Could be that ethereal thing. Could be made up to a healthy degree. But logic is not going to solve every single problem. It's just not. So keep that in mind today, guys. And that's it. That's all I've got for you. I will extrapolate on this a little bit later, maybe in videos I do in the future. But thank you for listening, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.